And welcome to the weekly poll, everyone! Rob's currently catching up on his trailers, which I'll be doing in a second. But as usual, this is your weekly dose of your comic book, geeky, superhero, whatever is currently tantalizing us at the moment podcast. I don't know if I should say tantalizing. That doesn't sound like a good catchphrase. The most tantalizing podcast of the world.
I like that.
As usual, I am your host, or one of your four hosts, Benny from Comicstorian. I dramatically read comics and somehow forgot how to promote myself.
Yeah, like Benny, I think I'm the Comicstorian.
I think I'm the Comicstorian. I think I do stuff on the internet talking about comics. Maybe a few people know who I am. But if you don't know who I am, you probably know who ComicPOP is. And here's one of the hosts over there, Sal, joining us.
Hi.
And Rob looks like he's... Rob's rocking in his chair.
I think he's watching the trailer.
Rob?
I think we're muted.
I think he has you muted.
I caught on to
Watching Iron
that.
Fist.
We're just gonna watch him rocking there, like someone just took his toy away.
Seeing reactions.
The guy giving us silent reactions is Rob from Comics Experience.
Wow.
He's probably not even aware that we're fully live.
Now you can tag this Iron Fist reaction trailer.
All right. Well, anyway, while we're waiting for there's another one. While we're waiting for Rob to join us, today's episode is brought to you by.
I'm sorry, guys. What's up?
We're already live. I'm already doing the intro.
We're live.
Yeah. So hold on. You can come back to that in a minute, Rob, because today's episode is brought to you by the Jupiter Jet comic book, which is being created by Jason Inman, and he would love to tell you about his Kickstarter.
That's right, everybody out there. First off, I want to say thank you. I was on this podcast last week, and I put out the thing out there that I was like, if anybody from the weekly poll went and helped us make our indie comic Jupiter Jet, that I would send them a comic book for my personal collection. And there's a lot of you that have done that, and that's awesome, and I thank you. And more people can do that because my wife and I have co-written a 5-issue comic book miniseries called Jupiter Jet about a girl with a jetpack fighting monsters with glowing eyes. I call them monsters. They actually look like bald men. And they have robots. They're on blimps. It's an exciting all-adventures 5-issue independent comic book that will later be published through Action Lab. And you can go to JupiterJetComic.com and help us out with that because the book is funded and there's all kinds of cool stuff out there. Like we have a script review by Mark Andreyko. He used to write Batwoman. You want him to give you notes on your script if you want to write comic books. So, and I'm going to make the same offer that I made last week. If you go over there and you donate $10 or more, say you found me from the weekly poll, I will send you a comic book from my own personal collection with a note.
Awesome.
There you go.
I say that I found you from the weekly poll.
Sure. You want? I'm going to purposely send you like an issue of Wild Dog.
No, thank you. All right, so I today we don't have much brand spanking new news. God, I can't even talk today. We don't have a lot of brand spanking news to go over. So today we're going to talk about okay, for the record, I turned on the cheer bits thing, and you guys are having a great time with that, and we appreciate all of those cheers and all of those bits coming at the channel. But I have no idea how to turn that down. So that ping, I'm trying to figure out why it's so loud. But anyway, today we're going to talk about all of the trailers that came out during the Super Bowl, because quite a few of them did come out. And I think we should go ahead and just start with whatever the hell Rob was just watching.
Yeah.
What made you go wow?
Huh?
What made you go wow? You were like, wow.
Oh, just him using his Iron Fist, man. Like,
okay. Yeah.
The whole thing has like this 70s. I mean, it's updated for modern times, but it has like this 70s kung fu vibe to it. And like it looks cool as hell. Like it looks a lot better than I thought it would, to be honest with you guys. Like when they were like, "Yeah, man, we're doing Iron Fist," I was like, "This is probably going to be the weakest of the Netflix series." It looks like it's going to be one of the best. I was still excited, but I was just like, I think it's going to be one of the weakest. But like, dude, I think it's going to be one of the strongest.
I'm mad at you right now.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Iron Fist is like
He sits on my desk.
Iron Fist is my favorite like obscure hero, and everyone's like, "Okay, not Batman, not Spider-Man. Who do you like?" I'm like, Iron Fist, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, I love him, and I love him right now in All New Autumn Marvel. The problem is, like, nobody cares, so I just read him for the sake of reading it, just for me. But, dude, no, like, Power Man and Iron Fist, like, he's hilarious in that story. But I'm gonna do, like, it looks like they're following Matt Fraction's run, from what I can gather, and it looks like it's gonna be, badass. I mean, it's just like, and that looked like Colleen Wing, like the chick,
that's exactly who it was.
Because she's like, "Where did you come from?" And he's like, "Kunlun." I was like, "That looks like Colleen Wing." Like, I'm so glad they're bringing her in, which is going to be awesome.
I'm actually excited that they've brought Carrie Andrews back to do a solo Iron Fist book again, because his last run was just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it ended with him taking over an entire building and then walking around punching demons and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you read that one, Jason? Because you look surprised.
I read like the first 2 issues of it, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe I should go back to it. I don't know. I'm such a huge fan of Matt Fraction. Oh, it's not comical?
No, it's very much like he's been beaten down and he has to claw his way back kind of a situation. So it's all like dramatic. But it ends with he goes against a god, and in order to defeat a god who's the size of a building, he takes over a building and charges it with the iron fist and starts punching this thing.
Well, see, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Danny Rand kind of has to be the goof, which is kind of what I liked in that trailer. Is it kind of seems like, I think you're right, Rob. They really like with the new theme of the Iron Fist trailer. Like it feels like a 70s or 80s kung fu movie. It feels like that movie that you would go find in the $5 bin in Blockbuster. You remember what Blockbuster is?
Yeah.
If you don't know, go Google it.
There's also
actually
a series
still one
of
left
videos
in the
as to what
world.
happened to Blockbuster and people breaking into abandoned ones. I've watched a lot of those.
Wow. But no, well, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as far as Iron Fist, this Iron Fist trailer goes, for me it looked like the mystical Iron Man, because it's not too dissimilar from the origin story. It's a combination of factors. Like I was kind of like, number one, it's gonna be a solo Iron Fist series, which I always thought, like, if you're going to do a Luke Cage and or Iron Fist series, just merge them and make one show, Power Man and Iron Fist.
Right.
The fact they didn't do that was like, right on, cool, okay, I really enjoyed Luke Cage. I was kind of iffy about Iron Fist. This trailer sold me entirely. I am 100% down for this because it looks like it's going to be one of the most lighthearted versions of the Netflix Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, I agree with you on that. And actually, I was a little, because as much as I enjoyed the darker take that Carrie Andrews did for the character,
Yeah.
I do like comical Danny Rand because he complements Luke Cage so well. So when they were first coming out with the trailers and it was dark and moody, I was like, oh, we're just gonna have all dark and moody Netflix heroes.
Yeah.
Nobody's a jokester, and I'm so happy that this is obviously going to have it.
Yeah. His personality seems to have a little bit of like Star-Lord. Like there were a couple of moments where it was like that Star-Lord comedy that was sort of thrown in there.
Well, the best thing about an Iron Fist origin story is that you could do the fish out of water aspect of it, because like, again, this is a kid that has never been to New York. This is a kid that has never run a corporation. So I kind of think a lot of it's going to be him being like, New York is my weird city, and the weird city that floated in the clouds that I learned Kung Fu Mortal Kombat stuff from in the Himalayas is actually more normal to me than being able to walk down to the corner and get pizza.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for him to be a stranger to the city because everyone else kind of like lays claim to it. Like everyone,
they're like, I live it, I breathe it.
Well, not only that, but they're like, this is my city, city, and it's like, okay, you know what? Like, there's a lot of people here. Like I can imagine Iron Fist just being like, I like the city. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a lot of like open late restaurants and everything, but at the same time, my city is a mystical one in the clouds. I'm down for that one.
Yeah, it's so noisy.
It's noisy.
They had what looked like a cage match. I mean, some kind of fighting scene. Like, I mean, that's probably him during his training sessions. To be honest, like, I really hope it's like the 7 heavenly cities. Like, that's the fight. Like with the 7 heavenly cities. I doubt it because that's such a huge plot to do in like a Netflix series.
Well, Rob, I actually, the funny fact of the matter is that when Daredevil season 1 happened and they started showing up the what is her name? Madame Chow, the older
Madame
Asian
Gao.
woman? Madame Gao, thank you. From Daredevil season 1, and she started revealing that her symbol was like the symbol of the Silver Serpent, who is an Iron Fist villain. As soon as they started showing that, I 100% came. I was like, oh, Defenders is the battle of the 8 cities. Like, and now
that'll be amazing.
I don't know if they're going to go that far, but if you look at it, Madame Gao and the Hand are kind of in the background of all the shows, even Luke Cage. So. That would be an interesting thing to unite them. There's also the other thing about it'll be interesting to see how involved Claire Temple is in this show, because there's that big theory, there's that big rumor going out there, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. A lot of people think that Claire Temple is going to be the Coulson of the Defenders, that meaning that she's going to die in Defenders, and that's what unites them.
No question. I mean, like, number one, Rosario Dawson is a busy actor. Unlike, you see, the thing about it is, with Coulson, no one expected it because while Clark Gregg is a great actor and fun to see, he's not like a AAA actor who is in a lot of projects. So to see Clark Gregg / Coulson die in Avengers, spoilers, 10 years ago, but
I don't think it was 10 years ago, was it?
Was it? It feels like it was 10 years ago.
It was 2012.
It was 12? Yeah, well, there you go. Well, excuse me, but the point being, it kind of came out of left field. Whereas Claire Temple dying, you're like, right on, yeah. I mean, like, she's got to go at some point. Like, nobody, like, every time she's in a Netflix Marvel show, people go, I can't believe she was in this show for this long. Like, I can't believe she stuck around this long. She's got lots of projects to do. And then, but I could see her being like, yeah, I'm in it for the long haul because I'm gonna bite it like right at the beginning of Defenders.
She signed like a 5-series deal. Yeah, maybe.
Exactly. I would be sad to see her go because I like her as an actress and as a character, and it would be sad. But at the same time, like the fact that it would be sad makes it kind of like you have to do it then because it's going to be earned. You know.
Yeah. Teddy, I doubt it would be Shadowland, just because of the fact that, I mean, if they did Shadow, there'd be a lot of build-up. One, they'd have to show the leadership of the Hand, so the leadership could be toppled. You'd have, like, we know that Daredevil's going to be part of the Defenders, so it's not like he's leading the Hand, and it's not like, you know, he becomes, like, really screwed up and his methods get more extreme. I mean, they like, I mean, I could see them...
You haven't learned. Like, regardless of what happens in the comic books,
they're
going to throw it all out and be like,
Shadowland.
Daredevil went evil.
You didn't even let me finish,
ass. That was the point. That's what we do in the show. And yeah, I'm interrupting you because you didn't splooge for the 4 people, 3 resubs, 1 sub that came in.
He's watching trailers.
Splooge. Splooge is for all of you.
Jumanji actually cheered, asking, "Where's his splooge?"
Where's my splooge, man?
Fair enough, dude.
No, there's no equivalent stand-ins to do Shadowland right now in the Netflix cinematic universe. It's just not enough people.
You know what it is? It's a great name, and people recognize it. That's all Marvel cares about. I guarantee you, they'll be like, yeah, you know, there'll be an idea, you know, like we'll use a couple of elements, like maybe we'll imply that the villain will be inhabited by a demon, but we'll never show that because we A, can't afford it, and B, we'll never show that in a Netflix series.
I mean, weren't you excited how well they adapted Civil War with the 12 superheroes going at it?
Yeah, like that was truly a war that took place in one setting in one location that had no like stakes or consequences.
I mean, I was also blown away with how they dealt with the secret identity thing because, like, I mean, only 2 people have secret identities in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, they just went like, it's not about that.
If they keep getting carried away with this, they'll do Secret Invasion. It'll just be Captain America who's a Skrull. Splooge.
Yes, they did that. Actually, they did that in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. They did. The Avengers cartoon show did Secret Invasion, and it was Captain America. It was literally what they're probably going to do with Secret Empire, but in that cartoon.
Yeah. Now, I could see them at the end of the Defenders setting the stage for Shadowland. Like, I could see that being like the second phase of Netflix, which would actually be pretty badass.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Shadowland, if you got rid of the demon stuff and made it all about Matt Murdock taking over the Hand, that would be an interesting Daredevil season 3. It really would.
Yeah.
Because then he becomes the Kingpin.
It's true.
Yeah, and how does he deal with that?
He's already like a huge dick.
Yeah.
Like, he has no friends or family to lose right now. He could totally take over the Hand.
Rob, you need to splooge again. Wow, everyone's just resubbing and subbing today.
Splooge!
Rob's running on empty over here, guys. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm never running low on splooges. There's always time for splooges. If they sub, I splooge.
Okay, well, bringing it back to the Iron Fist situation because we've gone on a total tangent about Shadowland showing up in this.
We have. It looks like it's going to be solid. Like I think. Like, we know that the RZA is going to be directing an episode, which I'm really hyped for. How many of you guys saw Ghost Dog Way the Samurai?
No.
Okay. Yes.
One hand goes up.
Exactly, yeah, man.
I know that Forrest Whitaker movie.
Yes, man.
I know it too, but I never saw it.
Ghost Dog Way the Samurai sort of feel. Not the same plot, but kind of the feel in terms of how it goes down. Like, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun. I think that you guys are right. It's going to be one of the more lighthearted things, and I think it's going to be more fun and action oriented as opposed to like extreme plot story driven. But I think it's going to be solid no matter what happens.
How many episodes is this show?
They all get 13.
Okay, so this one's but they didn't reduce it where they're like Iron Fist, but it's gonna be like 7.
Now, I think Defenders is only like 8.
Yeah,
It is.
Defenders
I know they
is
reduced the
short
number of
one.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do want to say this though. Is anyone else shocked with how quickly it's coming out?
Yes.
I'm not.
No.
No, I thought it'd be like June-ish because they're talking Defenders at the end of the year.
Yeah.
They always do one in the spring. They always do one in the fall. If you look at it, like Luke Cage was like in October, and then Daredevil season 2 was like in like April, and then the year before that it was like Jessica Jones in the fall, and then Daredevil season 1. I don't know.
Well, also don't.
They always do a spring and fall.
Okay.
Also, don't forget, like, I think one of the reasons why they're making Defenders such a short series is because The Punisher is coming out this year. Which, like, the rumors that it's...
No,
yeah, the rumors
Defenders
that
was
it's
always
coming out
intended to be a short series. I think they're kind of half listening to our complaints of why is it so many of your stories wrapped? Like, you have filler episodes I don't want.
Yeah.
And I think Defenders, they're like, we can't do that with 4 people.
I also think it has to do a lot with budget. I literally think that they're like, we cannot afford all 4 of these leading actors to be in the same show for double these episodes, so cut it in half.
I could see that. Yeah, no, I could see that being the thing.
Yeah.
That's
But
fine,
also-
though. That's a happy coincidence, because then they can tighten the budget, they can tighten the story, they can amplify everything. Like, everything can be... Well, when you're on episode 4 and, like, and a building explodes, you're going to be like, whoa, no! Like, what's going to be happening next? Like, you're in.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah, regardless, I mean, yeah, but I guess back on the Iron Fist thing, I'm excited. I'm wildly excited for this. Like, I'm
with you, buddy.
I
Only
wasn't
complaint.
expecting to be,
I'm
but
going
I'm in.
to have one complaint. Finally seeing him in the role of Iron Fist, the character that plays it, the guy who plays him.
Yeah.
I there was a couple times I looked at it and I'm like, is
His
that
name
like,
is Finn something, I believe.
well, the couple times you saw him and he had the full blonde locks and everything, I'm like, is it just a boy band member? Is it like Justin Timberlake when he was a kid? Like, he doesn't look like... He didn't strike me as I'm Iron Fist, and I guess that's what they were going for, because Danny Rand, when he's not in the getup, doesn't... You know what I mean? He comes across as a rich playboy.
Yeah.
But seeing him on the screen, I was kind of like, are we going to break out into a song and dance number eventually?
Yeah, Iron Fist and the Backstreet Boys.
I'm down.
I mean, I don't think it's going to go that far. I think that's you. I think it's you looking a little bit too far into it.
I liked
Something's
his
up with your
performance
mic.
so far, so I'm down. Like, Finn Jones...
Yeah, Finn Jones, yep.
I've never heard of him. I'm looking forward to finding
You've
Game
never
of
heard
Thrones.
any of the people that are on here.
What was he in?
He's from Game of Thrones. He's the Flower Knight on Game of Thrones.
There you go. I don't watch Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
so I have no idea who that is.
Sal, you
Blood
need to
He's a
get on
very
one
effeminate
show this
knight.
century.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to the beginning of the Super Bowl trailers thing that you linked us. I will link it in the chat. It's a master list of all of the trailers, and we'll discuss them in order that they're in there. So let's get
Sweet.
opinions on Ghost in the Shell.
This conversation's all you
man.
guys.
Rob, you
Can I get a-
switched mics or something. You're like on your webcam now.
Yeah.
Do what?
You're like on your webcam or something now, and your internet's breaking apart to nothing because you keep breaking up. Either stop downloading porn, updating your Steam games, or pay for more internet. I don't know what's going on over there, but
It was on my webcam.
now you're quiet as shit.
There we go. Okay, that should be better now.
No,
It was on
you're
my
still
webcam.
quiet as shit. We can see your lips moving, and we hear like a mouse talking.
All right. Well, you're totally muted. The Ghost in the Shell trailer.
Yeah,
Can I
he's
say?
totally muted. He's not even joking
Well-
with you.
Yeah. No. While Rob gets his stuff sorted out, can I get a show of hands? Has anybody actually seen the original Ghost in the Shell movie? Okay. It's the most boring thing I've ever seen.
Well, is it just me? Because I had to double take this. They copied the original anime's trailer, like to a
It's-
T almost.
Oh, it's not just the trailer. Like, that's the movie. Like, they're just
Yeah.
adapting the movie from '94 or whatever, but putting a white person in the role. Which, regardless of your opinions of that on that subject, because Scarlett Johansson makes the Benjamins, that's the only way you're going to see a Ghost in the Shell movie. That's it. Like, so shut up about everything.
Right.
But that said, I rewatched Ghost in the Shell. It's really boring. So if they make a live-action Ghost in the Shell, they either have to, like, amp it up and, like, use elements from the show, which is kind of superior, or it's going to be a really boring movie starring Scarlett Johansson.
No, the movie, I agree with you, because it was one of the first animes I watched, and it was one of the ones that turned me off of anime, because I was like, okay, like, this is kind of boring. And while it's in the end, it's a good, and the show does a lot better job because they took the concepts and turned it into something more.
Yeah.
The movie, if they go letter for like to a T, exactly like the anime, I don't see what was going to happen with that. Like,
I
think this is going to suffer the same thing that video game movies do. I think people are just going to be like, well, if I wanted to watch this exact same thing, except with a bigger budget, I would watch the anime. I don't because they are adapting. They're not making it exactly the same as the anime, but they're making it pretty close. And I don't know, man. I'm not looking forward to that movie at all.
No, I don't think I'm even gonna go see it. Like I've seen Ghost in the Shell. Well, I saw shot for shot.
Even if you're not gonna see it shot for shot, you got Scarlett Johansson in a skin tight white latex, whatever the hell that is.
Go watch any movie with her in it. Go watch Avengers again. It's like. You want to see Scarlett Johansson being hot? There's 1,000 films to choose from.
For all the little kids in the chat who want to see Scarlett Johansson naked, there is a movie where she does that. So go ahead and look that up. There you go.
Yeah, like The Inside, I think. I don't remember.
She's like a demon or like a monster.
Yeah, she kills people.
Yeah.
It's like Species, only good. But like,
it came out after the Black Widow role too, which is weird because I remember there was talks of like, is Disney gonna drop her?
Yeah, and Disney's like, no, she is literally the #1 best-selling female actress of all time.
Yeah,
we're not dropping anything.
Yep.
Just fair.
Hey,
Rob, how's
what
the
do you
mic?
think?
Okay, can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
No, you're
Okay,
still super. I'm not even trying to mess with you. You're really low.
Really low.
Yeah.
Like you're quiet.
Better now.
No, you haven't fixed anything.
What?
Yeah. I'm not even trying to mess with you because we do have a show to do. If I was messing with you, it would probably be on like when we're gaming. Now you're muted.
Not. I'm not muted.
Well, now we can hear you. Very quiet.
Oh.
Yeah, the chat's even
how about
agreeing.
that?
It's not just me. They're saying you're low.
Makes sense.
We may have to not get his opinions on this.
We'll just keep going.
All right. The world of Ghost in the Shell looks cool. The other thing that I will say is the voice actress in Ghost in the Shell is really bad. Or movie. The movie. The show is better, but the movie actress, I was like, ooh.
But isn't that the case for most anime things? You watch anime for... I watch anime for the visuals. Like, I'm not watching anime for... Like, I'm watching anime either for the story or the look of it. I'm not looking for the acting in those movies because I know that it's just...
Well, that's...
No,
that's funny.
Because they're always doing the anime thing where like nothing in the frame moves except for their 1-inch mouth that goes.
Well, let me ask you this then: what did you think of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within?
I never saw that one.
Okay, because I loathed it. I saw it in theaters and was like, "This is the worst," because it had no plot and it was like really kind of out there. And I remember people like arguing with me because they were like, "No, it's not about the acting or the plot. It's about the visuals." And I'm like, when I go to absorb a story, I want all the elements of good storytelling in there. And when it comes to movies, even anime ones, if the acting ain't good, I'm not in. So when it comes to that, like, I mean, there's plenty of examples of good acting in anime that I've experienced over the last like decade or two of watching anime. But
sure, I'm not saying that all anime actors are bad.
The chat is asking why you would watch dubbed anime. Because you got
why
remember,
would
when
you?
it comes to anime, the hardcore fans are like, no, you gotta watch it in the original language.
Yeah, well, I ain't a hardcore fan. All right, I'm an American. I'd like it to be in English, please.
And sometimes the dubs are better.
Yeah,
sometimes they are.
Like I can't stand Goku's voice.
Funimation,
in the subtitle.
Funimation, that company that will do some of the dubs and stuff like that, they hire some pretty good names for some of the dub overs. And sometimes dubs are great, sometimes they're terrible. It's there's no black or white on any of this.
No, it's not. Yeah, there's no like certainty. It's just the luck of the draw. I've loved the dubs on any of the animes that Tiffany has made me watch over the years, and let me tell you, like any ones that I've handpicked have been really, really solid. But
Will says dubbed is for casuals. You can't be casual or hardcore when it comes to just watching TV.
Who cares? I don't care. I don't care. I'm moving on.
I am going to say one funny story about that, though. So I got a few friends over at Ursity that we were talking about how Ruby went from being this like fun little project they did to this phenomenon that is a part of the Rooster Teeth stuff.
Yeah.
And they said that it's gotten so big that they get a kick out of people who respond with, we want to watch it in the original Japanese. That's the better one. Because Ruby came out in English and then was dubbed into Japanese. And then the hardcore anime fans actually have gotten in arguments with the Rooster Teeth crew going, no, the original Japanese is better, you guys are ruining it, even though it's not a Japanese show.
Yeah. God damn it.
That's how hardcore those anime nuts are. I'm calling you nuts when you want to argue that Ruby's better in Japanese.
I mean, there's no argument there. But yeah, no,
In Crimson Marvel, I hate Goku's voice in the sub. It's just like, oh, look at the out! Oh! You're like, that's not Goku. That is not my Goku.
That is, hashtag not my Goku.
Not my Goku. All right, what's the next video on here?
Is it Transformers?
I think it is. No, it's John Wick. Does
Oh
anyone-
yeah.
I am excited for that movie.
Are you legitimately? Because I didn't even see
Yes,
one yet.
man. Did you not like John Wick 1?
I haven't seen it.
Loved it. It's amazing.
That movie, John Wick 1, okay, here's the thing. I stayed away from it because I stayed away from it in the theaters because I was like, there's no way this is a good action movie. This is crazy. Like, Keanu hasn't made a good movie in a long time. And then, so I just randomly just bought it and watched it. Grabs you in the first 10 minutes. Grabs you,
Yeah.
and you're just in. You're in for this thing because John Wick has this crazy thing that it's not just an action movie. It introduces you to this whole world of these assassins. Like they have fake money that they use. They have a certain assassin money. They have assassin hotels. They have assassin rules. It's kind of like Assassin Highlander.
Yeah.
So you're telling
Only
me
cooler
I need to watch
because
John Wick 1.
yes,
You need to watch John Wick 1 before you
it's
can
totally
watch
worth
2.
a red box. It is
Yes.
so great. I also
would say-
avoided it because it looked like a direct to DVD like waste of time.
Yes.
And we rented it because it was like, oh, I guess we'll watch Keanu Reeves today. And then we were like, oh shit.
Didn't that come out alongside a Tom Cruise movie of a similar idea?
Oh, Jack Reacher?
Yeah, that one. I saw Reacher
I didn't see Jack
instead.
Reacher either for similar reason. I was like, I don't care.
Jack Reacher is a former military intelligence officer, so they're not very similar at all.
Well, no, I'm
Yeah,
saying
I
like
don't-
because you look at the two trailers, it's basically assassin guys killing people without knowing
Right.
the plots. So it's like, do I watch?
Ah.
Starring
might have
people
come
you
out.
know.
What was that?
They might have come out similar. I'm gonna look it
I
up.
think they came out alongside, like near each other, and I was like, and at the time we were either short on funds or we were short on time to watch a movie, so we picked the Tom Cruise one.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I didn't see the original John Wick.
Gacho Cam has the best comment of all time. He says in the chat, "But did you watch John Wick with the original Japanese dub?"
I was just reading that. So great.
No, I did see that version.
Oh yeah, and it was way
No,
better.
I'm very excited for John Wick 2. I'm actually gonna go see it either Friday or Saturday. So I'm really John Wick 1, one of the best action movies of the last like 8 years.
Easily.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out tonight. Then we were gonna finally watch Justice League Dark, but we can postpone that for John Wick.
Don't waste your time.
Don't do that! I love the comic. Don't do that.
You're crazy, Sal. That movie was great.
Okay.
All right.
The comic is such a
All
great
right,
concept, and it's like
Yes,
you
it
get
is.
Justice League
Hey,
Dark
Rob's back.
plus Batman, and I'm like, yes.
Can you guys
Yeah.
hear me now?
Yes.
You're still a little quiet, but at least we can actually
Sound
make out what you're
fine.
saying. No. You can make out what you're saying now, so don't tinker if you can't.
Okay, but like you guys can hear
There
me
you
better?
are.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was adjusting the wrong setting on the mic. All right. No. Okay. John Wick. The first John Wick's actually entertaining. It kind of has like a Mission Impossible feel to it. The second John Wick is bad. So yeah, don't avoid that.
Wait,
It's
that's
terrible.
the-
Have you
What?
seen Second John Wick?
Yes, I had to throw my own 2 cents in there.
It
Not
comes
the
out
second.
on
I'm
Friday,
sorry.
Rob. How have you
I was
seen it?
thinking of my bad. I wasn't thinking of John Wick. I was thinking of
Reacher
the
2?
Tom Cruise, Jack
Yeah, the
Reacher 2.
Reacher
That's what I
one.
was.
Oh,
Yeah, Jack
See,
Reacher 2
he
is
was
terrible.
confused as
That's
well,
what I was
Jason.
thinking. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
Jack Reacher, John Wick. No, I'm hyped for John Wick 2. Like John
Okay.
Wick 1 is.
I will
amazing.
say, the
I was gonna
first.
say, when did you get that invite? Where was this?
Yeah,
Like-
I was like, wow, Rob.
No,
got it.
I know people in theaters, but like they don't even have it yet. So
No.
yeah.
The first trailer for John Wick 2 left me a little concerned because if you go back and watch the first trailer, it's kind of like hackneyed. It was just it feels like a cash grab. And the second trailer gives me faith again. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm back because John Wick 1 is so well executed that you don't want a sequel because it's a complete story and you can only really like how often do you get it right again? You know what I mean?
Lightning
Yeah.
in a bottle. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Well, now
I mean, it leaves on a good
So we
note.
can go see it this weekend then, while we're in LA.
Yeah, definitely check it out because it is tough.
Hold on, you never saw the original John Wick?
I mixed it up with Jack Reacher and saw Jack
Oh,
Reacher, which
okay.
was
Yeah, no, dude, this is one of those movies that's like it's an accidental success. Like it's better than it has any right to be. In all
Yeah.
honesty.
Okay,
And
so
it's- dude, yeah,
just fun side note. I just pulled up Google Play to grab the movie, and the first thing that they're recommending right now is Tyler Perry's Boot.
That is
Yeah, man.
everywhere. That is inescapably everywhere.
Yeah, what is
It
with
knows you
Tyler
well.
Tyler Perry's Medea's Halloween? I don't want to watch that.
Yeah,
I've never seen a Medea
Halloween.
movie,
It
and I
is
never will.
everywhere. Like everywhere I look, I see that poster of Tyler Perry looking scared.
All right. Well, anyway, let's go to the next one then, because we can keep moving for time here. Transformers, and I am going to go ahead and say this before you guys rant and rave. I think I'm the only person in the world who enjoys these movies.
I mean, they're good if I want to zone out. Like if I'm scrolling through TV at like 2:00 in the morning and it's on TNT, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I would not go to a movie theater to see it.
I would be embarrassed to make them.
Michael Bay.
Well, not when they're making
Michael Bay doesn't
$1
care.
billion.
He makes money.
Yeah, no, I would still like. I wouldn't be able to call myself an artist after having been in or worked on those movies. They're so bad. Like they're bad on every level.
But they got Mark Wahlberg now.
Yeah, and he's hilarious. Like he's a joke. But like those movies are, which is why I liked the fourth one, because Mark Wahlberg has become a joke, and those movies always were one. So putting those two jokes together gets like a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup kind of situation where you just get to laugh and laugh. And there's fewer racial jokes. Like there's fewer really, really racist stereotypes in that movie. So you don't have the really like offensive bullshit in that movie that you had in like the last couple. Yeah, no, those movies are garbage, and I'm not wasting my money and time watching that movie. Like, Optimus Prime's a bad
I
guy.
really don't want to talk about it because you guys all hate it, and that's fine. And I will
so
never
bad.
argue that Transformers is like an amazing movie. It's the kind of movie that it's like, yeah, there's a Transformers movie out. I could see some explosions and robots. Let me go grab some popcorn and watch this, you know?
I get the idea. I get the premise of like, it's one of those movies, you turn off your brain, you watch it. They've made hundreds of those.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to turn off my brain and watch something, I'll just watch Terminator 2 again, and at least it'll be
You
good.
get an evil Optimus Prime this time. What's wrong with
I
that?
don't want that.
I mean, Jason was saying before the show started that he feels that this summer is all good guys going evil.
Yeah, it is. It's all good guys going evil. We're gonna see it
Cats
everywhere,
and
every
dogs
movie.
living
You know,
together.
Benny, I'll give you this, man. Transformers 1, I think, is semi-entertaining. Like, the special effects are good. The story's okay. You can kind of get past Shia LaBeouf just because
Yes.
you're like, Optimus Prime and his crew are acting so well. But like 2, 3, 4 just like immediately just tank, and they're just like, yeah, it's kind of like what Sal was saying, that they just like, from that moment on, it's not like half of the movie is dumb fun. It's like all of it's dumb.
Yeah.
Right, like,
no,
there's-
and I agree with you on that one, yeah.
Even when you have a moment that's kind of cool, something happens that reminds you it's not.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah,
the
like
worst.
a transformer having balls.
Yeah,
Balls.
like that one, or like them over animating the face, which is one point I wanted to make. The video you sent us, if you go to 1 minute into it, when did Bumblebee get lips?
Oh my god.
Wow.
In your nightmares.
I know.
Yeah, now here's-
Go to 1 minute and look at that face.
Now, if they want to sell me a ticket, what they should have done, if the trailer were not this, if instead the trailer was like they're enjoying a period of unprecedented peace and harmony between the Autobots and the world or whatever, and like you have this moment where Megatron pulls himself like through the burning desert, and then this giant Cobra Commander like missile tank rolls up, and it's a Transformers G.I. Joe crossover movie. Now you've sold me a ticket because it's all garbage, and
I
I'm
have
totally
made that
in.
argument on Screen Junkies movie fights before.
Oh,
where
really?
I was like, the way to save both those franchises is to have G.I.
them
Joe and
together.
Transformers cross over. They're owned by the same company. They're the same toy company too.
Yes, no, I am. I think, and I hear that they're working on that. I hear they're working towards that.
I hope
but it's
so.
just, I think that the idea is that once Michael Bay legitimately leaves the franchise, because he says he doesn't want to do the crossovers and stuff, but once Michael Bay leaves the franchise, they'll go right into like creating a Hasbro cinematic universe, which I am so on board for. I can't wait to see Gem and Cobra Commander and like the Autobot. I'm all in on a Hasbro cinematic.
Jim and the
On a complete
holograms?
tangent. Whatever happened to the Universal Monsters cinematic universe? That
They're
were
working
planning?
on that. Oh,
It's
Kong
gonna
Skull Island.
happen this summer with Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Is
Yeah,
it?
the-
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Kong
I
Skull
remember
Island
hearing about
also
that. They're like, we're
next-
building a cinematic universe of the monsters, and it was like that Dracula
They all-
movie was.
Well, they've had problems with it because the first attempt at that was Benicio del Toro's The Wolfman, and that movie bombed. The second attempt was Dracula Reborn or Retold. It came out like last year.
Yeah, it wasn't
Untold.
that great, but I at least was like, okay, I could. It's kind of
So
like
that-
Man of Steel.
that-
Like,
never saw it.
it's
Yeah,
the
that
beginning
movie
of
bombed
something
too.
good.
Yeah, that movie bombed too. It killed it. And so The Mummy is the new attempt at it because they went for Tom Cruise. And I actually think that this one will be successful because they're going to cast all the monsters with big names. And then, like, Russell Crowe, who is Dr. Jekyll, is in The Mummy.
Oh God! So it's going to be kind of like that. And I don't know why people hate it so much, but I bet it'll probably have like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but on like a much grander scale.
Yeah,
Like-
on an actually decent scale, yeah.
Yeah. No, dude. Okay, I liked League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I don't understand why people hated
bad,
that.
Read
but
it.
it wasn't good. It's like a Transformers.
Dude, I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's like a Transformers movie.
Do
Like,
you know
okay.
who wrote the script for that movie?
Who?
James Robinson. Comic book writer James Robinson wrote the movie script for League of Extraordinary
Oh.
Gentlemen.
That's fine.
Well, I tell you what, Bennett, you can have Transformers. I'll have League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and we'll call it a
Okay,
day.
and I am going to
What
agree
do
with Tony One Grendel. Does no one else miss the original Brendan Fraser franchise? with
Oh,
the
dude, I was going to say,
No,
like,
so-
I think that's why people are why people are going to go see it, because they're like, well, the last movies I saw, except for the one where we were expected to believe that Brendan Fraser could beat Jet Li. Like, aside from that, like, everything else was good. Like, all the other movies were awesome.
I love how in the third one they just recast Rachel Weisz.
Yep.
She
Hey,
would,
come back, man.
like, just say she's not there. Like, why did you do that?
Yeah,
All right,
it was
so moving
bad.
on to the next one. This is the one that I didn't even know. I just saw the trailer for it as we were doing this, and you guys all said it's the Aliens movie. It really is. So who wants to see the new Aliens movie,
Right?
aka
Life? Not seeing that.
I mean, I guess it is. I mean, okay, but if there were ever a time to like try to capitalize on the Alien franchise by reworking it, now would be the time to do it, especially with the hype for Alien Covenant coming up, which I think that
There
comes out in
hype.
March. Yeah, there's hype. I'm hyped.
I'm excited, but
Spoon
I
drop.
kind of liked Prometheus, but most people didn't. So I'm surprised anyone's down for this movie.
Rob,
Well,
Splooge
I dug
doggy.
Prometheus. Splooge, doggy, XXX. Splooge, you get 2 more splooges. Splooges
Alien
legs,
Covenant
it's got
comes
2
out
months
in
it.
May.
Oh, it comes out in May. Okay, I thought it came out in March for
Like
some reason.
like a week
No,
before Wonder
March
Woman.
is when Life comes out.
Yeah. Well, it was the same thing with like Battlefield. Battlefield LA or Battle LA,
Oh,
whatever it is.
Battle LA.
Yeah, and then
Battle,
like then
was
like
it Battle
Ah,
for LA?
damn it.
Yeah, I can't
it
remember.
was Battle something like that with and then you had that one where it was like basically the rip-off that did terrible and came out beforehand. Like, I mean, it always happens that way. One studio learns, other studio doesn't. I like Prometheus. I mean, I'm in the group that like
liked it
Prometheus.
too. I thought it was.
But this felt like the next logical
I didn't
step
like it at all.
after
I was waiting for
Really?
the aliens to
Really?
pop up, and at the very
See,
ending, I'm like,
everybody
that
was waiting on
not
the
enough.
aliens.
They told us we're not getting aliens in that movie. They
I don't
told us
listen.
in advance.
I had no problem about it not connecting to the Alien universe. I actually would have preferred if it just had no allusions to the Alien universe because the engineers in that universe are interesting enough on their own. My problem is about 20 minutes into that movie, main characters start acting like complete idiots. Like a scientist with years of experience is like, I'm gonna pet the weird bitey thing, and then and then I can't remember the lead actress. She burns the other guy like for no reason, and then at the end of the movie, the characters can't realize that all we have to do is run right, and we can avoid death.
I was gonna say that too. I'm like the fact that at the ending they're running along with the disc is like,
Yeah, it's
what
like,
is wrong
come
with you?
on. You are
Yeah.
super scientists. Be smarter than this.
It was very
Whoa.
weird. It was weird the glaring errors that were made in that movie. But that said, beautifully shot, great looking special effects. I
yeah.
love the robot stuff. If that movie were a Blade Runner sequel, I would be 100% on.
Oh god.
I agree with you. The
Yeah.
opening sequence with David is like
So-
is amazing. And when I saw that in theaters, I was like, "Oh, we're in for something good." And then it never beat that.
No.
Now, here's the thing. Okay, so the guy that got blowtorched, if you go and watch the extra scene that wasn't thrown in the movie, that guy basically looks like a xenomorph. Like he moves, walks,
that doesn't make
attacks
any
like a xenomorph.
sense.
Well, it makes sense if you're Ridley Scott and like you were basically like you just kind of wanted to. But no, like the people who went into Prometheus thinking they were going to see xenomorphs were like the people that go on a ride and there's a giant purple sign that says this is not a roller coaster, and then they get angry when they get up to the front and they're told this is not a roller coaster.
Well,
like,
and they find out there's
you know.
no loops.
then there's no loops.
all right,
Well,
well, we got
down.
to keep moving forward here because now we're just talking about Prometheus.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are. Yes, we are.
I just saw the trailer for this one. I have no idea what's happening in it. Is anyone curious about a cure for wellness?
Nope.
Dude, it looks like Shutter Island.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it looks
looks
like.
kind of like that to me.
Basically,
not-
It
Shutter
looks like a
Island.
rework Shutter Island.
Okay.
I mean, it may be entirely different, but it looks like Shutter Island.
Okay, the next
Yeah.
one is another John Wick 2 trailer.
Yeah,
Okay,
people were loading
Guardians
up
of the
John Wick.
Galaxy. Let's go ahead and talk
Yes.
about that.
Hey.
Baby Groot. Baby Groot is going to
I
steal
still
the
think
show.
the first trailer is the best, though. You know, where he started explaining, but he's like, "I am Groot."
Yeah,
Agreed. I
I
like
am
that
Groot. I am Groot.
You can only do so much in a Super Bowl trailer, you know. So
Yeah. Oh, because you're paying like $1 million a second or something
it
stupid
was
like that.
$5 million for a 30-second commercial this year.
Oh.
$5 million.
Well, hell, if you're a comic historian, that's money in the dresser drawer. What are you talking about?
Thanks, Rob. Hey, if I've got
Oh.
$5 million in my dresser drawer, I better start moving to a more secure location.
Well, no, I mean, like everybody knows, if you have 1 million subs, you make $1 million a month. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's $1 million.
Everybody knows
It's
this.
$1 a sub.
It's $1 a sub.
Fuck,
Yeah,
that's what
right?
I'm making. Everyone on the Weekly Pulse is going to get a paycheck for $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, you
Show
joined
up
the Weekly Pull at a great time, Jason.
Yeah, no, Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks like it's going to be solid. Like I'm happy. I know, Jason, you have your thoughts on Yondu, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think the thing that's going to make this movie, what I hope makes this movie better than one for me, is that I think Michael Rooker's performance as Yondu was so good, and I'm happy now that he's a main cast member and not a supporting cast member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost feel like they wanted to make a point of making you aware that was happening, because we had that little sequence in the trailer for the Super Bowl where he's like, "Welcome to the Guardians of the Galaxy," and then they showed the new people, which was Yondu,
Mantis.
Okay, who's the girl with
Mantis.
the antennas?
Mantis.
Is she gonna stay? Because even in the trailer, she
Yeah.
gets like blown up.
Yeah.
She has to get blown with the
Oh,
trailer.
dude, that always happens with Mantis. Like that was a Silver Surfer story where she was a love interest for a while, and then she died. I think saving the life of Shala Bal when she was brought back to life, and then Mantis was like reborn. What was it? Something like 100 different versions, and
Yeah,
Silver
she
Surfer
can,
kept
like,
running
resurrect
across
herself,
different versions
so.
of her.
Yeah.
Oh, so she resurrects. So it's gonna be a running gag to kill her. She's the Kenny
Well, they
for the
confirmed.
Yeah, she's gonna
They
be-
confirmed too. She's in Infinity War.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was like,
Gearbox
'cause I knew about
23.
Nebula, I knew about Yondu. It was Mantis in this trailer that I was like, oh, because I try to avoid a lot of the spoiler crap that comes out in the movies because I like to enjoy
Yeah.
my movies.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah, that's why I disappear off social media for about 3 weeks before a movie comes out that I really like, because I don't want it spoiled.
Now, there's a lot of debate going around about them making Drax more comical, and I feel like a lot of that is coming from people who aren't reading the current comics, because he's been very comical lately. Drax in general. But how do you guys feel about that?
That's a return to familiarity. Like Drax, when he first showed up, was a buffoon. Sal, you remember when Drax, when in the old days,
Drax
he was
was-
an idiot.
Drax was dumb. Like he
He
was.
dumb.
Yeah.
Well,
He was just like
has
a-
been in the comics too. It's always
He's a
been
bad Fantastic Four villain.
Yeah, like Drax the Destroyer he used to have a big stupid purple cape and he was
Yeah.
an idiot. And it was only until I think Annihilation that they
Yeah,
fixed
it was
him up.
Annihilation.
Yeah,
And they were
gave him
like,
the
nah,
miniseries.
that he looks the way he does
No,
now.
Annihilation fixed all of the Guardians, because before that,
Yeah,
they were
it did.
they were like a
No, dude,
D-list team that no one gave a fuck about.
I will say Dan Abnett's run on Guardians of the Galaxy is solid.
Yeah.
No, dude,
problem
like
is-
Annihilation fixed the entire Marvel cosmology, is what it did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not without and without like faking it, like it through
Yeah.
legitimate story and evolution. But that said, this movie looks tight. I'm sad that we're losing. I was like, I remember when they said they were going to bring in Mantis, and I was like, okay, so you got Drax, you got Gamora, and you're going to make Mantis. Like, how many green people are you going to put on the Guardians of the Galaxy? And then they made Mantis not green, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. Like,
We got so many.
everybody's
folks.
green. Skrulls are green. Mantis is green. Drax, Gamora, like everybody is green. If you want to make them an alien, but
I do want to make a thing. I want to throw this weird idea out there, and I know everybody in the comments is going to come after me for this. Whatever. I'm very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I really am. I just want to point out, Marvel sometimes has some bad sequels. Everybody remember Iron Man 2 and Thor: Dark World?
Yeah,
I liked Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I liked Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3.
But
is
I
a
did
whole
not
nother
like
You're
story.
crazy. Get out of here, Iron Man 2.
Marvel makes what I like to call. I don't know what to call it, but they basically make their sequels where they're not great, but you're not going to hate them. They're just like, here's more of what you liked, and I'm worried
Yeah.
about that being the situation with Guardians.
Well, those are
With
the earlier
Guardians-
Marvel movies. Then you got we're in the age of the Russos now. We got Winter Soldier.
That's true. Winter
You know, we
Soldier.
got-
Now, Winter Soldier bucks that trend. I'm very true. I'm throwing it out there.
but yeah.
There have been sequels made by the same directors that have not been as good as the first one. So
Well, under
everybody
normal
should manage their
circumstances-
expectations for
Yes.
this one and not make it as like it's going to be greater than Star Wars.
It will be.
Yes.
Trust
Well-
me. Because I'm a fan
Oh,
of
yeah,
Guardians
no
of the
question.
Galaxy,
Yeah, I'll
and it
put
will be
myself out there.
goddamn Star Wars.
Under normal
I'm-
circumstances, I would say you're probably right, Jason. But I guarantee, after the success of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Marvel went to James Gunn and they handed him a check, and Kevin Feige wrote his signature on the bottom and said, "You fill in the rest." And then he just like made the movie. Like I guarantee he has 100% complete and total creative control over everything that goes into this. And Feige, they just sign off on what he wants to do. Now, if it was anybody other than James Gunn, I would say you're probably right. Like this movie may have some issues, but after Guardians 1, after like his catalog, you know, of all the things that James Gunn contributed to, I am 100% on board with the fact that I think this is gonna be solid.
Me
Like, I
too.
think-
Me too. I have no like. I'm really excited for this movie. I'm just throwing it out there into the world. Be ready. It could happen. It's a possibility.
Yeah. My
It is.
concern, I'm more concerned about the Guardians being in Infinity War than I am about Guardians 2. Like,
Oh yeah.
because I think James Gunn, number one, I think that James Gunn is gone after 2, like 100% out of Marvel entirely.
I agree with you. I think he's gone.
And with no, like, he's not going to script doctor, he's not going to do anything. So if you like how the Guardians are in these 2 movies, be prepared for them to become Iron Man clone quip machines in Avengers Infinity War, and it's going to feel kind of not authentic, and I'm worried about that. If it weren't for the Russos, I would be outright saying it's not going to be good, but I'm worried more about that than I am for 2. I think
I'm already worried
for
about Infinity War in general with the amount of people that are going to be in it. I don't think
I don't care about that.
Proper
Marvel has everybody in it. Every Marvel event I've ever read has had more characters than will be in Infinity War, and it's worked, and I'm fine. Like, Marvel events are always choked with characters. We already know none of the Netflix characters are going to be in those movies, so like it's just going to be the characters from the movies, and like there's only really going to be like 7 or 8 of them that are going to have major speaking roles anyway. Like, it's going to be fine.
Well, the other thing you got to keep in mind too, when it comes to Infinity War, it's like going into the Super Bowl down one, like losing one game. Like, you know, if you lose the big game, no one cares about everything before that. So it's like with Infinity War, like that'll be what people talk about for like the next 10 years. Like if they blow that, like it blows, like it basically just throws away everything before, because Marvel will be remembered for the movie studio that just blew it all away. Like they just ruined it all with Infinity War. And I think Marvel knows that. I think they know everything that's on the line with the whole Infinity War thing. Having said that, if Guardians of the Galaxy 2 tanks, we blame Jason. That's what we do. We say it's Jason's fault because he jinxed it.
Jason did this for a voting problem.
Listen, I already get enough people blaming me for that kind of shit anyway, so please don't do that.
Okay. Oh man.
All right, so let's go ahead and move. I want to ask one last question because we do have to keep moving. But I do want to ask one last question about Guardians. Do you think they're going to fix the Guardians before then? Because if you're reading the comics right now, they're all stranded on Earth and disbanded.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to get them all like conveniently in the next 2 months? They're all going to come back together and go back to
Isn't
space?
that what that what the new Aaron Cooter series is all about? Them back in space?
Are they already? Because like it's right now for the record, as funny as some of these moments with them being on Earth is, it makes no goddamn sense why they're stranded on Earth.
Well, no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
They're
Jerry
literally just
Duggan and
keeping
Aaron
them
Cooter
there.
are launching all new Guardians.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Which
they're
is gonna
dude,
put them back in
putting
space.
them, like putting them on Earth is the same as just putting them in some pocket dimension. Like we're just holding them here until we can bring them back. Like that's all they're doing.
No, I know
We're just
what they're
kinda
doing
keeping them around.
story-wise. They're just holding them there until they launch them back in space. I'm saying, like, as far as lore of the Marvel Universe goes, you mean to tell me they can't get a single ship that will take them somewhere to get a real ship? Out of all the Marvel Universe.
Basically,
Well, it's just a classic. I mean, why didn't Franklin Richards just solve every problem on Earth by just snapping his fingers and changing reality? I mean, it's just,
All right, so anyway, let's
just
go ahead and talk about Pirates of the
storytelling.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yes, dude, I'm so hyped.
So what happened with this? I'm wondering if anybody knows. Because, okay, so if you don't know the story of Pirates of the Caribbean, it was only a trilogy. That was the intention of the original series. It ended, and that was it. The 4th one came out. It tanked. It was supposed to start a Jack Sparrow-centric trilogy, but it looks like the second one now has Orlando Bloom back in it and everyone else. So what's going on? What's happening here?
honestly, I have no idea except for the fact that it'll bring in cash. I mean, because you got to think, like, a lot of people didn't like the Jack Sparrow one because it didn't have Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't really wrap up any of that stuff because people are like, well, now Orlando Bloom can only come back once every 10 years. Well, what happens when he comes back once every 10 years? The way this looks, it looks like he's taking the direction of Davy Jones.
Yeah.
Like the way that he looks and everything. Yeah. But like, people just want to see, you know, like they want to see the well, guys, it doesn't matter. Caribbean, it doesn't matter how people pronounce it.
Yeah.
But like the whole like having him come back, I think is one of the reasons why that's why he's in the trailer. Because people are like, hey guys, it's not just Jack Sparrow. Like you got Orlando Bloom back. See?
Well, it's weird
like, I mean,
because if you've been watching all these trailers, Jack Sparrow has like minimal time.
Yeah.
Like this is obviously not going to be Jack Sparrow centric this time.
I think because Jack Sparrow's a little played out.
I think they're just trying not to overdo it.
He's a little played out, but Benny brought up the point about 4. Yeah, you were right. They were going to start a trilogy just with Jack Sparrow. There's no reason that shouldn't have worked. It could have worked because you can kind of take the idea of Jack Sparrow and sort of give him a new item to find every movie, kind of like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The problem was that the movie was just so badly written. It was goofy. It was ridiculous, and you had nothing to care about. The thing that really pushed you through the first trilogy is, you're right, is the story of Orlando Bloom and Elizabeth Swann and how they get through these movies, and then Jack Sparrow's the sidekick. They didn't have that in the 4th movie, and that's the reason why it didn't work, but it still made money. It made $1 billion.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, when I saw that movie, I was in the military, and I remember we saw it after a drinking binge, and Jason knows how that probably went, but I've given up drinking since then, but at that time, I was still drinking pretty heavily.
At that time, I saw Pirates 4.
I remember falling asleep midway through it. I have no idea if that's because I was partially drunk or because it was bad, but...
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yeah. But I remember just hearing that it had tanked, but I guess it made $1 billion. It definitely did not tank.
Yeah, no, it
tanked
tank.
critically.
It got bad
like
reviews.
Every review of it was bad, and I agree because it was not a good movie. And you made that movie where your like main villain is Ian McShane. Ian McShane from Deadwood, and you couldn't make a good movie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, no, that's exactly, and it was Jack Sparrow finding the Fountain of Youth. I mean, I would have been more on board with him like going on these little adventures and then coming across Orlando Bloom every once in a while or something along those lines. Like that would have been cool. But no, I mean, the I think one of the bigger problems with it is that I think Jason's right that like it focused on Elizabeth Swann, it focused on whatever Orlando Bloom's character's name was, I don't remember anymore. But it focused on those characters, and then Will Turner, and then Jack Sparrow was just like the comedic relief in the story. You know, and it was just funny moments with him. But then when you turn around and you write a movie based on his character, well, suddenly like it has to be a goofy movie because he's a goofy character. And it just didn't resonate with people.
Also, if you look at the first Pirates of the Caribbean, you guys, everybody knows, God, what was his name? Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. It's what George Lucas used to create Star Wars. If you look at the first Pirates of the Caribbean, it is a hero's journey for Will Turner. Yeah. And Jack Sparrow is the weird wizard character. He's the Obi-Wan archetype in that movie. So you can't take that archetype and suddenly make him the lead of the movie and expect it to work.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it would be no. Oh no, I was vaping. So, no, it was no. You're 100% right. It's like making a movie about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's called Star Wars Episodes 1, 2, and 3, and it does like people just think it sucks. So, you know, like you're 100% right.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've always kind of liked the Pirates universe and the characters, and I'm kind of excited to see what we're gonna get for 5. You know. But now that I'm no longer drinking when I go see them, I might be a little more critical. Because when you see those drunk, they're really good. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of folks in the theater
who were
drunk.
Let's talk about the Logan trailer. I mean, at this point, Logan's coming out in like 3 weeks. I think we're all pretty stoked and hyped about it.
Oh, I have a thought about this.
Sure.
And I don't know if I talked about this before, but the question is like, what happened to all the movies? Or what happened to all the mutants? Okay, so like everybody that's essential to being there in the Old Man Logan story is like Fox doesn't have the rights to.
Yeah.
All right. The X-Men are killed off.
Have the rights for who? I'm sorry.
Hawkeye.
For everybody in the main story, like all the essential characters, like
like Hawkeye and got it.
Yeah, all those guys, like I mean Emma Frost, I guess, which I could see her in that role because Days of Future Past. Yeah, she hasn't done anything, but I could see her pop up somewhere along the line. But the question is, what happened to all the mutants? Now, the issue is there are no, I guess, with the exception of Jason Wingard, who they've never introduced, so they couldn't really use them. I guess you could. I could see them coming along and saying it was the legacy virus, that like Wolverine was
That's what
taken.
Chad's saying.
Yeah, and they used him for the purpose of creating the legacy virus.
I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I'm gonna
Okay.
go and say, because of the situation with Fox and Marvel and all that other crap and how it's rolling over, they're not even going like. And this is my concern with the movie. Has there ever been a trailer that literally declared them all dead, or is it just they're gone? And that's all he said. They're gone, Charles.
Oh, they're. Well, yeah, he says all the mutants are gone. I mean, we're left to believe they're dead because they're nowhere to be found.
Well, right, they're nowhere to be
Right.
found, but that doesn't mean that they aren't just in another city. X-Men have disbanded. Everyone's still around, and we just have an old Wolverine.
Well, but I think it's kind of obvious given the movie that like the mutants are all gone. Like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know exactly what it is because I mean, the Old Man Logan storyline doesn't link with the X-23 storyline already. So we already have a weird mix smash of what's going to happen here. And Charles isn't in any of them. So
I mean, they're honestly they're doing the thing that Marvel loves to do, and it's not even Marvel 20th Century Fox, but it's the thing like we take the title of Civil War, but that movie is not Civil War. It's just the
Right.
idea of Civil War, and this is totally just taking the idea of like let's put Logan in a post-apocalyptic future. I will say, I swear to God, I read an interview about a month back with James Mangold, the director, where he even said in an interview, because somebody was like, well, where do you go with the X-Men universe from here? Because you're basically ending the X-Men universe. And I swear to God, he said his answer to that question is that no, this is not the end of the universe. This is an alternate end that doesn't have to happen.
Yeah,
So
that's what they
basically,
said. Is like
I mean, what they could be doing, because if you look at the proper timeline, the Wolverine movies kept going when First Class started up, so the Wolverine movies are still in that original timeline. So Fox could just be being like, fuck continuity, I hope you know what's going on.
They're definitely playing with continuity. They're definitely being like, oh, no, like, I think they're even saying that the Wolverine movies aren't even in their own continuity. I think that the idea is that, like, X-Men Origins Wolverine, that was going to be the continuity, but nobody liked it, so now it's not. The Wolverine, also part of it, like, it's technically part of the X-Men 3 continuity, but because of Days of Future Past, that's undone. And Old Man Logan, or just Logan, is another alternate X-Men reality, which is kind of frustrating because, like, how many alternate realities have you created now, Fox, with the same exact actors and characters?
Yeah.
But for me, like, I'm just excited that it's going to be separate. Like, I'm glad that it doesn't have to call back and explain, because I liked the ending of Days of Future Past, and I was like, this is a good cap. This is a good ending to the X-Men movie franchise.
Right? Wouldn't that have been the perfect place to just say, like, the Bryan Singer universe is done. We're doing our own thing now.
Yeah, especially since they've proven that those movies are not guaranteed successes.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially after X-Men Apocalypse, where they're like, oh, like, the fact there was a post-credit sequence at all after the end of Days of Future Past is kind of like, why? It's over.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, but Apocalypse, though. And I'm like,
Now,
yeah, but what?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we have no announcements from Fox post this movie. And
We
is that
have
where
no
a lot of the
show
rumors
plans?
that was
New Mutants.
What
Yeah,
is it?
we have Deadpool universe stuff. We've got New Mutants. We've got. They're still working on the Gambit movie. They're still working on, which is like why. They're still working on the X-Force.
Okay, so there is stuff after this. So that whole rumor mill of Logan's going to be the end and they're going to pass it back. I was like, where did anyone read that Fox was like, yeah, we're giving it up?
No, Fox will never give it up.
Yeah, it's not the ending because James McAvoy is confirmed casting in the New Mutants movie as Professor X.
I would
really?
legitimately pay $100 for the ticket for Logan if I was guaranteed that this was going to be it and they weren't going to do anymore.
Yeah.
But like the fact is, they're not going to do that. Like Fox is committed, and I'm sure that they have multiple TV projects going. No, there's no.
Well, because the fact of the matter is, it's the same argument I used to have with the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It's the same argument I had with Batman versus Superman. Regardless of how poor they do or how badly they do, they are making truckloads of money.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though everyone hated it, made a truckload of money. Batman v
Yes,
Superman,
but not enough money.
Well, yeah, but Batman v Superman, while there was a majority that hated it, I personally feel like the extended cut kind of fixed a lot of things, but anyway, majority that hated it, it still made a truckload of money.
Made
But
$1 billion.
again, not enough money. These are the movies. It's funny how these movies still not only these are not Green Lanterns. These are not movies where it's like their budget exceeded their intake and it was a real problem. Like Amazing Spider-Man 2 made its money back and then some. It made its money back.
I'm actually going to look that up right now.
The only superhero movie that I think we have definitively decided it is not worth the money is Fantastic Four. It's the only one that will not sell.
Well, the problem is because they no one who owns the rights to those movies has an idea of what that is. Like, they don't know what they were like, we're going to have the guy who directed Barbershop do the Fantastic Four movies. Oh, that didn't work. They all were stupid and clownish. How about we got the guy who did Josh Trank, who did another movie, I don't remember what it was. Chronicle, thank you.
Yep.
We'll get the guy who did Chronicle to do a body horror movie version of the Fantastic Four franchise. Neither one of those groups had any concept about what Fantastic Four is and who those characters are.
But the fact is, and this is the funniest part, it doesn't matter who directs it or how bad the movie turns out. The names put people in the seats. That's what they've always done. And Fantastic Four does not put people in the seats, apparently.
No, it doesn't. But what's funny is every time Fantastic Four is synonymous with failure.
Yeah, it is now in the cinematic universe.
It is now,
it always has been.
Terrible.
Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, the first Fantastic Four, its sequel, the reboot, all 4 Fantastic Four movies have been failures.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Well, they've made their money.
Why did they make the second one?
Well, because because it was an early time when they were like, we gotta make more. Like, it's the Spider-Man 2 phenomenon. We've got to do a sequel to this, and it'll be bigger and better, and blah blah blah. Like.
No,
they were
I
so
think Jason's
proud.
right. I mean, I think the first 2 for Fantastic Four did okay.
They did okay, but they were critical failures.
Right. Yeah.
So is Transformers, but look at that.
Transformers, they should teach a class about Transformers because that deserves analysis and results, because there is no earthly reason those movies succeed, and yet despite their obvious badness, do. It's a weird phenomenon. They should call it the Transformers phenomena, where it's despite the obvious trend of horribleness, it exceeds its expectations in terribleness and profit.
All right, I just want to point out, Fantastic Four 2005, the Tim Story one, the very first one, total gross $330 million. The budget was $100 million. Not a failure.
That was a success, yeah.
Fair enough.
So, all right, we got to keep moving because we're running to the end of this. So, I do want to talk about the greatest superhero movie ever is having its 8th sequel, Fast and the Furious.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, I need to know, because has anyone here watched that series? It's the highest.
Yeah.
It's literally.
I've watched them all.
I've never seen a single one.
I've
watched every last one of them.
And I thought it was a cool movie. I did not watch Tokyo Drift because I'm like, that's dumb.
I haven't seen that one either.
I didn't watch 3, and I've never been back on board ever since the first one. But everyone tells me they're the most amazing things ever. It's literally some of the highest grossing films ever. I want to say Fury 7 is the 3rd highest grossing film ever right now.
I don't know if it'd be the 3rd highest, but it's up there. It's probably in the top 10. No, the movies got progressively better because there was better storytelling.
Because of The Rock.
Exactly, because of The Rock. But the issue is that Paul Walker was one of the biggest reasons to go see it. Look, so top 10. So it's hey, look, Vin Diesel, you're cool, and the first Riddick movie was good, but you're not reason enough for me to just go see a fantastic movie. I'm sorry, not a fantastic movie. A Fast and the Furious movie by itself. I mean, I guess I'll probably still go see it, to be honest. So I guess what I said doesn't make any sense, but still, no, I mean, it's a movie design. It's like a better version of anything Michael Bay would make. So it's the storytelling's a little bit better, the action's a little bit better. The last one kind of went off the rails by the time they got to the end, but one of the major components for watching the movies is now gone, and so it's
they also keep making them because Universal, the Fast and the Furious franchise is kind of the in Hollywood scuttlebutt is that the Furious franchise is the only thing that is holding up Universal right now. It's their only successful franchise, and that's why they're so desperate to get Monsters off the ground, because when Fast and the Furious goes away, Universal is going to start having years where they're constantly in the red. And also, the Furious movies don't have $250 million budgets. They've only gotten that recently. Yeah. They used to always shoot around a budget that was $100 million, and they've always been able to double their budget. So every Fast and the Furious movie has been a success. So to Universal, that's a very lucrative franchise.
Yeah.
The Fast and Furious for me has always been a weird situation where I'm always like, I want to watch them, but I always miss them in the theater. And then I literally sit here like, okay, I'm going to watch the whole series. And then they're like, here's the next one. And I'm like, God damn it.
It feels like a week later, like a new one comes out. Like, I got a little bit bored during the last one, to be honest. About halfway through, I was like, God, I'm kind of getting bored here. But like, I mean, they're not terrible movies by any stretch of the imagination. They're great movies to zone out to just like throw in, go to the red box and throw on.
They're what we were trying to talk about with Transformers earlier. They're the fun action movies that you just turn your brain off, you watch the explosions, you watch the gunfights, and that's it. Like, the characters act dumb in those movies, but they act action movie dumb. They don't act dumb like they do in the Transformers movies.
Well, the next one has Jason Statham, so I feel like it's turning into Expendables now.
Basically.
Me. I love
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Like,
okay, so that's that. Next on the thing was another one of the Cure for Wellness. So let's talk about the greatest movie that will ever come out this summer, Baywatch.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not talk about
Baywatch
Baywatch and just say we did. Like,
I'm not seeing Baywatch.
It's Baywatch with The Rock. I am so good to see this.
Dude, let me tell you something, man. Just because The Rock's in it doesn't mean it's going to be amazing.
Yes, it does. Name one movie The Rock has been in that bombed. It was horrendous.
Scorpion King, right?
Scorpion King.
Ignore that guy was the first one, and he was half CG.
Like Tooth Fairy. I think he was a Tooth
Scorpion
Fairy.
King,
Yeah, Tooth Fairy did not do well.
Oh, yeah, Tooth Fairy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
He's
Baywatch
not
is gonna
bulletproof.
be-
What about Pain and Gain?
Stop
Oh, Pain and Gain was
failures.
fun. I like Pain and Gain. No, I will go see anything The Rock is in, so I will go see this. But yeah, Doom was terrible. But
Doom, yes, that's.
it doesn't mean just because The
Doom
Rock's in it
was
doesn't mean
bad.
that it's going to be amazing. I mean, dude, there's amazing actors in Hollywood that have been in movies and they've been colossal failures.
Yeah.
So I mean, it all comes down to like the script writing and the plot. And sometimes The Rock's actually a pretty solid actor. Sometimes a good actor just can't save a movie.
You know,
So
Rob, I'm with you, buddy. I'm going to go see this movie simply for the fact that I think that if done right, this movie could be really funny. I think Baywatch is like a really good idea to do this. Yeah. What I'm worried about with this movie is that I'm worried that they're just going to repeat the beats of 21 Jump Street movie and just make it so meta, and you're just going to be like, well, I saw this a couple years ago as 21 Jump Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, Walking Tall was good. I loved Walking Tall.
If it wanted to succeed, or if it wants to do that while also being its own movie, they should take a page out of that Starsky and Hutch movie. Because I remember that was like half meta and half legitimately funny. It was bizarre.
Yeah. That was a weird movie, yeah.
Weird, right? Because it's funny. It's its own self-contained universe, and then at the end they meet Starsky and Hutch, and you're like, why did you do this? Very weird. It was just that was more of a Ben Stiller movie than a
Zac Efron being in it.
No,
dude, I was never a big Zac Efron fan.
Don't care about that.
Scrubs. Yeah, I was never a Scrubs.
He was funny in The Neighbors. I did like him in that one. Was it Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Yes.
I still haven't seen The Neighbors. I kind of gave up on Seth Rogen films, to be honest. I saw Pineapple Express, and I was like, never again. And so I never watched Seth Rogen movie after that.
You haven't seen a single Seth Rogen film since Pineapple Express?
Nope.
What about that one where it was him and James Franco, and they were going to heaven, it turned out? Like the world ended around them.
This is the end.
Yeah.
Nope, never saw that. Now,
hilarious.
This is the end sounded. I didn't see it either because it looked like it was just going to be a very expensive home movie about them fucking around.
That's basically how it started.
Yeah, I think they all wanted to just hang out and get paid for it, and that was the movie.
Yeah, and
I
don't see Adam Sandler movies for the same reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all saw Sausage Fest together when we were in Florida, Rob.
Yeah.
We went
to Sausage Fest. I did not.
I forgot about that. Dude, that movie was
Sausage Fest.
You know,
the movie made sense right up until the end, and then it was just a descent into total madness. Like it was like, what the hell's going on right now?
Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what we're talking about.
So you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know what the ending is. Yeah. I watched it on a plane once.
Wow.
It was a plane movie for me.
Wow. I really hope there were no kids sitting next to you like, Mommy, it's Sausage Fest. It's like, no, don't look.
Okay, so
hey, if they don't want me to watch it on a plane, don't offer it as the in-plane entertainment. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do find it a bit weird when they're like, here's a mature-rated movie where this character is naked the entire movie. Hope you got no kids near you.
Yeah. But, no, I think it has potential to be like a great comedy. It might be one of those movies that just takes everybody by surprise. It's entirely possible. Like, it gets into theaters, and it's one of those that just kind of sneaks through. Nobody cares about it, and then it develops like a massive cult following because it's just like really funny. I see that happening, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'm not going to swear it off. It's got The Rock, so I'll go see it.
Oh no, I'm at a point where I'll literally see just about anything The Rock is in for the most part. Like I remember early on when he was transitioning. This is when I used to watch wrestling, when The Rock was actually like somebody in the wrestling world, and he was transitioning out, and I was like, yeah, I saw Stone Cold try that, didn't work. So yeah, you're going to be a failure. And I'm literally at a point where if he's in a movie, look, The Rock's in it. That's a reason to go see it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, he's actually not. I mean, I guess when you spend your whole career acting in a wrestling ring, you probably get pretty good at it. So, I mean, he's not a bad actor.
The other wrestlers can't act.
Moving on. So
that's why I saw what's his name. I think I saw G.I. Joe 2 because he was in it.
Yeah. Was he in G.I. Joe 2?
Yeah.
Any movie that needs a big, strong muscle guy who can act gets The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood, mostly because he has like 8 films coming out this year, I think. It's something stupid, man. He has an insane number of films coming out in a really short amount of time.
Have you ever seen his work schedule? It's like wake up at 3:30, go for a run at 4, back at 6, take all of his calls, at 9 he goes to lift. It's like insane. Like the dude is working until like 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah, it's nuts. Like the guy's the hardest working man I've ever seen, and he's doing Ballers. Yes, he is.
Ballers is an amazing show, but we don't have time to talk about that because we're at the end of the episode.
Yay!
All right, so anyway, guys, as usual, today's episode was all about us talking about the Super Bowl trailers that came out. Some were comic book related, some were not. Don't forget, the Tuesday show is very pop culture related, so we just kind of talk about whatever we're fancying at the moment, whatever is tantalizing. I'm taking that word back. I'm going to make it less sexual. But if you joined us late into the podcast, which we gained like 200 viewers since we started, don't forget today's episode was brought to you by Jupiter Jet, the comic, a comic written by Jason Inman and Ashley Robinson, and he is now going to tell you all about their Kickstarter.
That's right. It is a 5-page comic book, all-ages adventure series about a awesome girl named Jackie, also Jupiter Jet, who wears a jetpack, steals from the mob, and gives to the poor of her neighborhood. It's a lot of fun. It's something that we've been working on for a long time. And if you go over to JupiterJetComic.com and you pledge at least $10 and say you're from the Weekly Pool, I'll send you a comic book for my personal collection with a note telling you how pretty you are.
Well,
I like Sal's reaction to that.
I'm in.
Really? Okay.
I love being told how pretty
But we just linked it in there. Yes. Well, Stranger Things 2 isn't a. I guess technically Iron Fist isn't it. Stranger Things 2 came out and basically announced that it exists. They didn't show anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a whole trailer for it.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna throw umbrage at that trailer because I was a kid who was in the '80s watching Ghostbusters, and they have. Their little proton packs are not the toy proton packs that you could buy as a kid. Yeah. Let me tell you that.
I assume that their moms made them for them.
Yeah, their moms no. I had that proton pack. It was blue. The proton stream was a piece of yellow crappy foam.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. You press a trigger and it goes wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
it was air powered.
It was not accurate. It was their jumpsuits are also not accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not accurate to the toys
of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I want to get one. Like I want to just go buy like a bunch of '90s stuff, like the Super Soaker 50, and like the Ghostbusters.
Those were better. They had better pressure. Mm-hmm. Most Super Soakers now they've reduced the pressure to keep you from getting hurt.
Don't put your eye out. Yep.
Funny side note. I'm going to end this with this tale, and just so you guys know, if you hang around after the podcast today, Rob and I will be streaming a game of Rob's choice. It'll be ESO. He doesn't have a choice. But
actually, I was going to go play Alien Isolation.
Well, you can play that after our stream. We're going to hang around and do Q&A and play some games. So just stick around, but we will take a breather. Like I'll put up music and stuff. But anyway, we'll be here. Don't worry about leaving once the podcast is over. But I do want to tell you one last anecdote. So involving Super Soaker reminded me of the Nerf guns. So basically, apparently, I don't have kids. That's no knowledge. But I do have a nephew. He's 5 years old. He lives very far away from me, so I don't have to deal with him when he's being a problem. But I did discover that apparently they got him a couple Nerf guns, and my sister and my mom were complaining because he would shoot them with them, and they would be like, ow, it hurts. So in response to that, because I missed out on giving him a Christmas gift, I bought him 8 different Nerf guns, including the automated Gatling guns.
Oh, nice!
To the house.
Oh my God!
One day he got one a day for like 2 weeks. He got a Nerf gun.
That's
wow.
Awesome.
So, and they sent me a video, and apparently he was supposed to try and shoot past my mom of him shooting, and he shot her. So I have a video of her being like, ow!
God, man. It's like that old video of that kid that got a lightsaber for Christmas and then cut his grandma in half by accident.
What lightsaber? was he?
Oh no! It's like a commercial or something like that. I can hear. I'll put it in the chat. You guys can check it out.
So, all right, guys, we're gonna close out the show. I'm gonna go to a little splash page, put up some music, but we'll be back shortly with some game stuff. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Jason, for being here. I think you're gonna be.
Thank you for having me.
You're not gonna be on for a couple more weeks, right? I don't know what you're scheduling when you plan on being back, but you won't be here next week. I know that.
I had it as I am here next week.
Oh, so he is here next week.
I will be here next week, unless you don't want me.
No, you're more than welcome to be here. Don't worry about that.
Well, then I'm here.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll be back